and that's where we got to talking about different things. And I told him about the book that you're planning on writing, and he mentioned if you needed help getting it.
We already felt it.
Oh, okay.
Cool. The way I want to do the book, talking a lot of money.
Yeah.
$45,000.
Wow. Why so much? Hardcover or I don't know how long.
Oh yeah. Here's something you might as well do it right.
Yeah.
All color pictures.
Yeah.
I don't want no black and white.
No screwing around.
But the things in there, besides, that tell what it is, really. And I got a kitty section. Shows little kids with dogs and dogs, taking them out in real little. Teach them how to handle dogs.
Right.
I had pictures of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the 5-year-old girls in children.
No kidding.
Wow. I was judging a kitty show. And then the adults also, that was in Indiana. Little girls got a plaque. They were proudest little girls you ever seen.
Oh, I bet.
They were some, youngest one little one was in there like about 5 years old. The other ones were about 7. Something like that. But I had pictures taken when I was done. Now, you meet people now who never did. A lot of guys, different dog men, the people, the dummies in the dog game now, they hear these names, they think these guys were great dog men.
Correct.
They never fought a dog in their life. Never did nothing.
Some reputation just get built.
Some guys that sold dogs for big money. I sold Troll to Castillo for $1,500. He sold it to the Germans for $8,000.
Wow. Unbelievable.
He certainly didn't need any money. He had a big job with Ford. He was a 20-year man with Ford.
Yeah.
And he didn't work in a factory. He had a, like a foreman type job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was up there.
Some people, they just can't turn down the money, and I think that's a big part of what's messing up the dogs.
He had his first fight he lost. Then after that he got a good bitch. And I brought a tips on conditioning. And he won 3 times for the bitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's all he ever did in Castillo.
That was it.
4 fights. But a lot of people, they hear these names plastered everywhere. Jack Kelly plastered everything. So whoever was his friend, you got big recognition.
Right. I did in the journal.
Yep. I mentioned Jack Kelly in New York.
Oh, did you?
Yep. Jack Kelly, he had a magazine, he was just starting out. I think what year that was, 76? Yeah, 1976. He called me on to come to New York. So I drove up there with Brian, Bob Bryan at Snake Jr.
Yep.
Big Brad had Red Danger, and he's the one that brought Angus here.
Oh, okay.
Big Brad brought Angus from California, and then he ended up selling to Billy Step. Now, thinking back, Brad and Brian went with me. We had a camper on a pickup truck. So we drove up to you're going to right in New York City. Okay. I swear, man, I get there, I agreed to meet Jack Kelly. So, we're going to fight Sunday morning, and I think this was Saturday. Okay. So we called him, told him where we were. He camp. So the dogs are released, and by 3 minutes, my bitch is bloodied up. Couple of arteries that hit each ankle. That bitch went to the ankles and deep enough where the blood's pouring out of mine. So she hurt mine good within 3 minutes. But in my situation, most of my dogs will go to your face, go to your nose, or whatever. All my dogs can bite, just like his can bite. Only thing is, my dogs could fight and they were game. So my bitch bit his on the nose, grabbed her nose, and bit terrible. His bitch started screaming because mine got a grip on the nose and just smashed that nose and the lip and the whole bit. His bitch was screaming and couldn't get loose, so mine just shook her out, had her screaming good, let go, shot into her shoulder. Took a big chunk out of her shoulder, went into her back end, and started shaking her like a rag doll all over her pit. Kelly's dog had big fangs, snapped in my dog's face, broke loose, and tried to run. Tried to jump the pit. My bitch grabbed her by the tail and pulled her back in. Slammed her down, and Kelly, of course, calls a turn, and gets a hand on his bitch, and thinks he can get her to scratch. So he goes to, this is why he hated me for that day on. Oh, he's jealous as a bastard. Anything that I had to do with, and the dog was, anything that was sold to somebody else, there was no mention I ever even owned that dog. No. Oh, shit. Right. Bulldog Evans, Geraldines, Sexton's Bubbles. Oh, shit. Bubbles was a mother of Virgil. Did he breed Virgil? I don't think so. And Bulldog Evans, Geraldine. Well, I sold that dog to them after she got older. But I did the breedings. And I bred all kind of goddamn champions, and I had all ROM bitches. I had them for years. So, Jack Kelly would never let it ever show. Because what I did to him that day, he invited people from all different states, from the South, from New England, from Chicago, and bragging everybody ahead of time that what he's going to do to my bitch. He's killing her. He was sure. When I put a hurt on his dog, the nose and the rest of the things I did to her, she cut out, tried to jump the pit, and my bitch grabbed her tail, pulled her back in, and he gets her in the corner, and he thinks he can get her to scratch. Whatever he was hoping for a miracle, because he's embarrassed. He invited all them people. So he referee said, okay, 25 seconds, face your dog, 5 seconds more, release your bitch. He took his hands off her, and he was holding her to face my bitch, and she didn't want to even look at my bitch. When he left go of her, she turned around, ran between his legs, and was clawing at the corner of the pit trying to get out of there. So he never forgot that ever.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
So how'd you get started with the dogs? I've never heard this part.
I had a friend who got Hendrick's Yard. Hendrick's Yard was in Northeast.
Okay.
And they were old people. They were old. And they got real old. And they either gave him the dogs or got very few dollars because he didn't have nothing. A guy named Jay Weitzel.
Okay.
And he was in a suburb of Pittsburgh, but he took the whole yard of Hendrick. So he got about 35 dogs. Well, he didn't have nowhere to put them. So he leased it. He was a
NWA.
school teacher. He's a physical
Yeah, man, that's the good shit right there, man. Dr.
and
Dre,
he
Ice Cube.
this
Yeah,
property
man.
where he
Yeah.
was gonna have a